So what Donald Trump said yesterday in that meeting differed very little from what he has said publicly, Dana, including in his convention speech last month in Cleveland. It's that we need a, quote, fair and, quote, humane way of dealing with what is estimated to be about 11 million illegal immigrants in this country. Nothing was said yesterday that differs from what Mr. Trump has said previously.
Well, let me play something from what Mr. Trump has said previously. Listen to what he said back in November.
Going to have a deportation force, and you're going to do it humanely and
inexpensively. Are they going to be ripped out of their homes?
Can I tell you? They're going back where they came. If they came from a certain country, they're going to be brought back to that country. That's the way it's supposed to be.
So does Donald Trump still support that? A deportation force removing the 11 million or so undocumented immigrants?
What he supports, and if you go back to his convention speech a month ago, Dana, what he supports is to make sure that we enforce the law, that we are respectful of those Americans who are looking for well-paying jobs, and that we are fair and humane for those who live among us in this country. And so, as the weeks unfold, he will lay out the specifics of that plan that he would implement as President of the United States.
Will that plan include a deportation force, the kind that you just heard in that soundbite and that he talked about during the Republican primaries?
To be determined.
All right, while Trump's future support of a deportation force remains TBD, we did learn more about his campaign war chest. Brand new documents filed with the Federal Election Committee show that Trump ended July with $38 million on hand for his campaign compared to Hillary Clinton's $58 million. To date, Trump has spent $89 million on this run for the White House. That's a fraction of the $268 million that has been spent by Clinton. A lot to dissect this hour. Joining me is our panel. Amy Kramer is the co-chair of Women Vote Trump, and A. Scott Bolden is the former chairman of the Washington, D.C. Democratic Party and a Hillary Clinton supporter. Thank you both for being here. Look, Amy.
Good evening.
Good evening to you both. Amy, TBD, that's what Kellyanne Conway said. But also the Trump camp is saying he didn't say anything new in the meeting with Hispanic supporters that he hasn't said before. Either way, it's confusing. Does Donald Trump need to do a better job of explaining exactly where he stands on this issue?
Well, Poppy, I believe that he's going to come out with an immigration policy. From the reports I've heard this weekend that he expects to come out with something later this week. And so I would wait and decide what I think about it until he puts out what his plan is. And that's exactly what he needs to do. He needs to talk to the American people about it.
So he's lagging in the polls among minorities, whether it is the Fox News poll that shows him 46 points behind Clinton when it comes to Latino voters in this country, whether it is the NBC Wall Street Journal poll that shows him at 1% support among African Americans. Would it behoove him to alter his deportation policy a bit, to say, I am going to work on a way or a path towards legalization for some of these 11 million undocumented workers in this country? Even if it's not something you agree with, would it help him in the polls?
I'm not sure about that, Poppy. I think that the important thing is that Donald Trump stands firm on his positions. One of the things that, galvanized people across the country is that they're concerned about our illegal immigration situation, and they want it to be dealt with. And this administration has not dealt with it in the way that people want it to be dealt with. We want our borders secure. It's about our national security.
To be clear, fact-checking, the Obama administration has seen the deportation of a number of undocumented workers in this country, so much so that one Latino rights group has dubbed President Obama deporter-in-chief. But Scott, to you, jump in here, because if we do see a softening of Trump's stance on how to handle the 11 million plus undocumented workers in this country, does that make Hillary Clinton more vulnerable on this issue? Because this is something she's been hammering at him over. If he changes his tune, does it make her, does it make it more difficult for her?
Well, just because he changes his tune doesn't mean he's going to do it. I mean, it's impossible to understand exactly what he believes in and what he doesn't. I will say this. It is huge that his campaign manager, was given 2 or 3 opportunities to say he's going to do forced deportation and build this Mexican wall, and she refused to do it. She said TBD. This was crucial.
Just to be clear, the question wasn't about the wall. I mean, he's always said he's going to build the wall.
The forced deportation. It's huge. It was essential to his message in the primary. This wouldn't be a pivot. This would be a reversal. And then he has to face credibility issues. Does he have credibility now if he doesn't go forward with the forced apportion with the 14 million people that supported him? Or does he have credibility to try to get back or get at blacks and browns and white educated voters? I think the message has been clear. I think that the die has been cast. I think it's too late to get African Americans and Hispanic and educated whites back into the fold. The die has been cast, so it doesn't matter what he says. It doesn't matter if he softens his position.
You're saying the die has been cast when your candidate is way up in the polls in the battleground states, but what we know is we've got 80 days to go, and what we also know is that we'll see a lot more Americans paying very close attention to this election after Labor Day. So, Amy, to you, though, on those numbers, I mean, it is clear that Donald Trump has to win over more minority voters and has to get more women on board if he wants to win the White House. Right. As he prepares for the debate this weekend, we know he started that prep this weekend. What do you want to hear him say on the debate stage September 26th to do that?
I want him to talk about the policies and his solutions that he's going to implement in order to get our economy going again, to create jobs, and to secure our borders and make sure that we're safe as a nation.
But he's been doing that, Amy. What different things do you want to hear?
I mean, immigration policy is a big thing. That is about our national security and securing the borders. That's another thing that I want to hear. I want him to reach out and appeal to these people and talk about why he is going to be a better president than Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton would be, because Hillary Clinton will be 4 more years of the same of this administration that we've had the past 8 years. And that's what Donald Trump needs to articulate. And I think that's what he's trying to do out on the campaign trail. He is out there. He's held 24 events already this month, and he's continuing to meet with people. And as we've talked about before, he's down in Mississippi and Texas reaching out to people, and those are not battleground states.
Why is he there?
Well,
why is he there? Because I think, people scratch their heads when he went to Connecticut last week because it's so solidly blue. So why spend money down in, in Texas and Mississippi?
Well, first of all, because number one, there's a large Hispanic and Latino population in Texas. Why not reach out to them? Second of all, because it's no secret that there's been a problem with the Republican Party as well as the Democratic Party. He's trying to bring the Republican base together, reach out probably to some of those Ted Cruz supporters, the never Trumpers out there. And they I mean, look, I think Ted Cruz did exactly what he didn't intend to do, is he unified people at the convention when he got up on that convention stage and didn't endorse Donald Trump. But Trump is going to Texas, and I'm sure he's trying to reach out to those people. There's no place that these candidates should not go, Poppy.
Switching gears here, Scott, I gotta ask you about this, because this week we learned at the end of the week that the Clinton Foundation will stop taking money from foreign governments and from corporations if Hillary Clinton is elected president, and that Bill Clinton will not give paid speeches. He hasn't done so since 2015. But today on State of the Union, our Dana Bash pressed Clinton's campaign manager, Robbie Mook, on this point, on the decision to not stop that donation from foreign governments now or while she was Secretary of State. Why wait until she's president if she wins? Listen.
But if this is the right policy now, why not do it now? Why wait until the idea of her being president? Why not do it when she is running for president?
Well, the foundation is doing an enormous amount of work, and it takes time when you're in a number of countries around the world to retool, refocus the mission, and adapt. As you said, they receive a great deal of funding through these streams, and it will just take some time for them to readjust.
All right, so Scott, to you first. I mean,
I don't disagree. I don't disagree, and there is an optics issue, but having represented several nonprofits, and forgive me for putting my legal hat on, but there's nothing illegal or inappropriate about what the Clinton Foundation or the initiative has done. They've done incredible work. It does take time if you're going to retool or withdraw that because of perception purposes. But let's be real clear.
Right, so
they
the
have gone above and beyond
so much
doing
time,
that.
The actual argument would be, why not start now? Why not start stopping this now?
It's
Well,
a conflict of interest.
I don't think that the campaign manager for Hillary Clinton said they weren't going to do that. He just said it took time. But again, this is above and beyond what the 501c3 rules require. We're on uncharted ground here. There's never been a wife of a former president who they all have foundations or presidential libraries, and now she has a good shot at being president, and he's going to be the first man. This is uncharted ground, and so I know that what they're going to have to do with this foundation is treat it as a blind trust and continue to retool it and continue to consult with the lawyers and 501c3 experts to figure out how best to do that. So there is no perception, there is no issue in regard to if I'm giving money to the Clinton Foundation that somehow I'm trying to gain access to the White House. If those contributors want Hillary Clinton to win, then I think they should give, and they have been or will give, to the campaign itself. And
Amy,
so we got a lot more discussion to do about this, but we all agree on one thing. We all want to avoid that negative perception.
Amy, final thought.
No, I just think that when you have accepted money from foreign governments and foreign corporations, even if you've
Foundations do that all the time.
But yes, but they don't have somebody that is on the taxpayer dollar either working, and they're not somebody that's running for president of the United States. I think there's a clear conflict of interest, and I think that actually the monies that have already been donated ought to be returned, and the foundation should be shut down, just like the Boston Globe wrote this past week.
Scott, Amy, thank you very much. Spirited debate as always. You guys have a great week.